If you've never invested before and you are telling yourself, this year I want to do better with my money, then this video is for you. In this video, I will show you where a beginner can invest in 2026, even if you are starting with small money. I'll walk you through smart and safe investment options, explain how they work in simple terms, how much you need to start, what returns to expect, and the risk you should know before investing. I'll also show you the platforms you can use to get started. If investing has ever felt confusing, don't worry, I've got you. Let's dive in. But first of all, if this is the first time you are here, you are welcome. On this channel, we talk about investments, passive income, side hustles, and business ideas. If that is something you are interested in, hit that subscribe button. Like I always say, it is absolutely free. Now, let's get into investment number one, which is the high interest savings account, also known as the HISA. So I honestly love this one because it is very easy to start and your money is easy to access. You can literally download an app, sign up, and start saving today. And you don't need a lot of money to begin. When I say HISA, I'm talking about savings account where you leave your money and earn higher interest than the normal savings account, just like the name sounds. Now, here is something most people don't know. Regular savings account, yes, that one that almost everybody has in the banks. Yes, that one. It pays very little or almost nothing. And the banks won't always tell you about the high interest options unless you ask. Why they won't tell you about this one is that they will pay you more interest, which means less profit for them. So how much do you need to start? Honestly, any amount. This is one of the lowest entry investment out there. What about the returns? High interest savings account pay more than regular savings account. Depending on the bank or regular platforms, you can expect roughly between 10% to 16% per year. In some cases, slightly higher with fixed or locked savings. Now, let's talk about the risk. The risk is very low, especially when you are using regulated banks, SACCOs, or trusted fintech platforms. The exact risk depends on where you are saving your money. So always use reliable, licensed platforms. So where can you find HISA options? Like I have said, the banks, SACCOs, or fintech apps that offer fixed or high interest savings. Investment number two is the money market mutual funds, or the MMF. I'm listing this as a beginner friendly because here you are not investing alone. Here, professional fund managers are the ones handling your money on your behalf. Money market funds invest in the low risk instruments like the government securities and short-term debts. What I love about this investment is that your capital is generally safe. The interest may go up or down, but the money you put in doesn't disappear. And that's why I often recommend this for beginners. So how much do you need to start? On most platforms in Kenya, you can start with 1,000 to 5,000 Kenyan shillings, depending on the provider. What returns should you expect? Money market funds doesn't have a fixed rate. On average, you can expect around 10% to 14% per year. But it can change depending on the platform and the market condition. Now, let's talk about the risk. Money market funds is considered low risk because the money invested is stable. Yes, the interest can fluctuate, but your capital remains intact in normal market conditions. So, where can you invest in money market funds? Some popular platforms include Etika, Old Mutual, CIC, Kuza, or even Britam. This is a great option if you want your money to earn more than your savings account without stress of managing investment yourself. Have you liked the video? Please like this video and also subscribe to this channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you. Investment number three I will recommend for beginners is the Treasury Bills, also known as the T-bills. This is one of the safest instruments out there because it is backed by the government. You are basically lending money to the government, and at the end of the investment period, you get your money back plus interest. What I love about the Treasury Bills is that the results are predictable and they are short-term investments. Most T-bills can run for 91 days, 182 days, or even 364 days. Basically 1 year or less. So how much do you need to invest in Treasury Bills? In Kenya, the minimum investment is 100,000 Kenyan shillings, which makes it suitable if you are starting to move beyond savings account and money market funds. So how much can you make from the Treasury Bills? The returns are not fixed forever. They change depending on the market conditions. On average, you can expect returns roughly around 12% to 16% per year, and sometimes slightly higher. So what about the risk? Treasury bills are considered very low risk because they are backed by the government. Well, no investment is 100% risk-free. T-bills are among the safest options available, especially for beginners. So, how can you invest in treasury bills? Directly through the central banks, through commercial banks, or through licensed investment banks or stock brokers. This is a great option if you want investment with better returns than the regular savings account. Investment number 4 is commercial paper, sometimes grouped together with short-term corporate debts. You can even call it corporate debt or corporate bonds. This investment, it is similar to the treasury bills, but instead of lending money to the government, you are now lending money to companies, corporates. How does this work? Companies like Safaricom or other large established businesses issue commercial paper when they need short-term money. You lend them your money and in return they pay you interest on top of your capital. Why do I like commercial paper? Because it usually pays higher returns than the treasury bills. Government investments are low risk and so returns are lower. And with the companies, the risk is slightly higher and so the returns are also higher. Commercial paper is a short-term investment and most of them run for 90 days, 6 months, or even 9 months, and in rare cases up to 1 year. So, how much do you need to invest with the commercial paper? Traditionally, the minimum investment is around 1 million, which makes it less accessible for beginners. However, some investment platforms and pooled products allow you to invest with much lower amounts by grouping investors together. What returns should you expect? Returns vary depending with the company and the market conditions. On average, commercial paper can pay you around 16% to 20% per year, and sometimes slightly higher for higher risk issues. What about the risk? Commercial paper is considered low to medium risk. The main risk here is the company risk, if a company fails to meet its obligation. That's why it is important to invest in well-established, reputable companies or use platforms that properly assess risks. This investment is great if you want better returns than the treasury bills and you are comfortable taking a little more risk for higher income. Like they always say, the higher the risk, the higher the returns. Investment number 5 is the ETF, which stands for Exchange Traded Funds. An ETF is basically a basket of many companies put together into one investment. Instead of buying shares of just one company, you are investing in many companies at the same time. Most ETFs, they track the stock market, an industry, or even the global market. Many of them are international, but the good thing is you can access them locally through different platforms. Why are ETFs beginner friendly? Because they give you an instant diversification. If one company performs badly, the others in the ETF can balance it out. So your risk is lower compared to buying a single stock. How much do you need to invest? It depends on the platform. On international platforms, you can start with as little as $1. Yeah. Or the cost of one fraction share. Locally, some platforms require a bit more, but ETFs are still very affordable to start. How much can you expect to earn? ETFs don't have fixed returns. Your return depends on your market performance. Historically, broad market ETFs have averaged around 8% to 12% per year over the long term. But this can go up or down. What about the risk? ETFs are considered low to medium risk, especially when you invest in broad market ETFs. The value can fluctuate in the short term, but over time they tend to grow. Where can you invest in ETFs? International platforms that offer fractional shares, local investment apps that give access to global markets. You can also access them through licensed stock brokers. ETFs are perfect if you want to grow your money over time, invest in global companies, and still keep risk manageable as a beginner. Now, here is the most important thing. I don't just want you to watch this video and do nothing. You don't need to start with all the 5 investments. Just pick one, start small, and be consistent. Remember, the goal is not to get rich overnight. The goal is to build a smart habit that grow your money over time. If this video helped you understand investing better, give it a thumbs up so more people can see it. Then subscribe if you want more content on investing, passive income, side hustles, and business ideas. Let me know in the comments which of these investments are you starting with in 2026. See you in the next video. Toodles!